Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Oh my God. I feel like I have to start wearing my Santa hat. I have to go find it.
Yes, it's that time of year.
Yeah, right. You need a Hanukkah something. I need a Santa something. We need to show people we actually do celebrate in between working.
Yes, exactly. We do have lives outside of work, even though it's
We do. We do. All right. So welcome, everyone. This is our Monday makeover with Robin White. Robin is a web designer who really does amazing work. And what we did is we have her doing little audits on people's websites who have submitted that they want to do a mini website audit. So what are we doing today, Robin?
So today we are looking at Angela Rennie Design. Angela very kindly volunteered to have her website looked at. And
one of my clients too.
Yeah, thank you, Angela. And we're going to look specifically at her portfolio page and talk about what she's doing really well, where there might be some room for improvements. And just so everyone knows, Angela, I could tell immediately, did have her website done by a professional.
Yeah.
And it was incredibly obvious to me the moment I landed on it that this was not a DIY site. You can really tell the difference.
And it's not that you could tell the difference because you are a rock star web designer. I am not. And I can tell the difference when someone does and doesn't. But the portfolio page is a particularly stressful page for interior designers, right? Often they don't feel like they have the good enough pictures, high enough quality pictures. When they're in the beginning or possibly have clients who wouldn't let them take pictures. So it's so stressful. Aren't you finding that when people hire you to do their web pages?
It really is. And I also find that sometimes people will put off potentially hiring somebody because they don't feel that they have a good enough representation of their work. And they don't think that they have enough to fill up a portfolio. And to that, I would love to maybe talk a little bit about what you can put in your portfolio when you're just starting out. And you might not have, all of those amazing projects and professional photography under your belt. I think one of the most important things to remember is the work that you show in your portfolio doesn't necessarily have to be work that somebody paid for. Right? So it can be, you did your own home. Anything that's done in your home, you did. So you did work maybe for friends and family. That kind of that work can go in your portfolio in the beginning.
Yes,
you might want to take it out later, but it's definitely something that can be there when you start. And the other thing is, you can include coming soon projects. So if you do have a client that you're working with, but it's not finished, there's some creative ways that you can show that this project is coming soon and have that, in your portfolio. You can show mood boards, renderings, things like that. So there's definitely images that you can put up there on a portfolio page when you're just starting out and you don't have those paid projects. And, cell phone technology has gotten better. I'm going to contradict myself. Professional photography is what you really need to aim for. I totally understand in the beginning that might not be within your budget. So use your cell phone. There's courses that you can take on cell phone technology and photography so that you can do it better. Courses you can take on lighting, and maybe invest in some ring lights and things like that so that your photos do look better. And then when you're ready to, definitely invest in the professional photography. But in the beginning, it's okay not to have it. And, in the beginning, maybe you just have one main portfolio page. Yes. I'm a big proponent of project pages, which we'll talk about. You don't have to start out with that. And your portfolio, along with the rest of your website, is something that you should be constantly looking at and curating. You can take projects out of your portfolio and add new projects in. And that's something that you should be doing as your business grows and evolves. So you do have enough to start with in the beginning.
Yes. And if you don't, you can create some. Like you said, you just gave some great tips on how you can create some. And I really always tell everyone, put on your website what you're looking to attract. Doesn't have to be everything you've done. It could just be what you're looking to attract, right? We get testimonials. Some of them are exactly the wording we want, and others are great, but not quite the wording we want. What are we looking to attract? Put that stuff out there. The ones that really, speak to you as project images, right?
Oh, yes, for sure. I'm going to say you want to customize the content in your portfolio to attract the kind of client you want to work with, and also to attract the kind of work you want more of.
Yes.
So if you really want kitchens and baths, that's what should primarily be in your portfolio, not master or primary bedrooms and living rooms, right?
Correct.
And if bachelors in their 20s and 30s are your ideal client, then your portfolio should not be filled with playrooms, right? So you want to really think strategically about the projects that you are including, the photos that you are including, so that it does resonate with your target audience.
It's definitely one of the biggest mistakes that designers make, is just to put everything they've ever done up there, thinking, well, someone will see it and want this. And then they'll come, as a business coach, they'll come to me and go, I'm not attracting luxury clients, because you're putting up not luxury work. You're putting up what you've done, which is fine. We've all started somewhere, but you don't want to keep those up there, like you said. You want to constantly be updating. All right. So we're going to look at Angela's.
Yeah, we'll look at Angela's.
Let's go. All right. Let me see. I'm going to hide me, hide you, but they should still be able to hear our voices and then share the screen. So let me hide me first, then hide you. Let me get rid of that words on the bottom, and let me see if I can make it wider. There you go.
That looks perfect. So here we are on Angela's portfolio page, and I always like to start with that header area at the very top, and it is really well done. It is simple and clear. We've got a lovely logo at the left and her menu at the right. It's very obvious where you need to go to find what information. I love the button that says book a call. It makes it nice and easy for a prospect to schedule time with her. Really well done. And again, I am nitpicking here because I wanted to find something to maybe suggest to make an improvement, but I would recommend that Angela think about removing the social media icons from this area.
Funny you said that, because I thought the same thing. I feel like they look squished up there.
They look squished. And also, I think, Nancy, we've talked about this before. The last thing we want is for someone to land on our website and then bounce off and go to our Facebook or our Instagram.
Right. Keep them here first.
We want to keep them here. The goal of our social media should be to drive traffic back to our website. Our website isn't driving traffic to our social media. Right.
Good point. And I like that this is right under, they're right over book a time. I may go, well, before I book a time, let me go check out. And then you've lost me. I'm gone.
Exactly. We want to keep them on the website. And also, for SEO, the last thing we want is to send Google a message that we have a high bounce rate because someone landed on our site and then quickly left because they went off to our social media. So I would recommend, social media icons belong in the footer, and Angela does have them already in her footer. So I think it would be really smart to take them away from the header area.
Okay, I'm just going to go down to the footer to show everybody.
See them right there, and that's a perfect place for them.
Okay.
Yeah. And then one last itty bitty thing is if we wanted to streamline the menu even further, we could remove home as an option in the menu, because we all know that if we click on the logo, that will take us back to the homepage.
Okay. Unless your ideal client are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. They should
might not know. Exactly.
They should know that. Yeah.
They probably do if they're on the internet, but yes, I totally agree with you there. And then if we want to move down to the hero section where it says get inspired, I love the wording here. It very clearly explains that Angela does both residential and commercial work, which is great. And then my expectation would be that I'm going to see both in the portfolio, and we do. And I also like that a location is given as well. So
I know, but I'm stumped. She's my client, so I know the answer, but Washington, D.C. or Washington State?
Yes, I agree with that. It would be helpful to get a little bit more specific there.
Okay.
Sure.
That's all.
Sure. Yeah. And I love that there's a dark overlay over the image, so we can really clearly read the words there.
Yeah.
I think that's done really well. My only little, nitpick comment might be we might want to make the view height a little bit larger so we can see a bit more of the image behind the words, but it's not necessary.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. And then we move into her project section, and it's laid out beautifully. We've got one image from each of her projects, And then we have a name of the project. We have whether it's residential or commercial. And then if you scroll down just a little bit, Nancy, most of the projects, I'm guessing that that top one is a new one. Most of the projects have a little write-up and then a button that will take you to the actual project page where you can see more photos and read a little bit more about the project. And
Great for
this
SEO.
great for SEO. And I would love to chat about that for a second.
Yeah.
I recommend for all of my custom design clients that we do project pages. And the reason is twofold. It can be a great way to make your work more easily digestible to your potential clients, to break it up by project. It is also absolutely fantastic for SEO. We all know that Google is looking for recent content, fresh content. And there's, a lot of talk out there about how blogging is such a fantastic way to create fresh content, and it absolutely is. But creating a new project page when you finish up a project is also fresh content.
I love that idea.
And sometimes it can be much easier for interior designers to tell the story of a project rather than coming up with content for a blog post. And this is an area where you can do keyword research and you write your content based around the keyword phrase that you're trying to rank for that specific page. So it can be a really valuable SEO tool for you, along with making it a fantastic way for clients to see all of the work that you've done. And what I like to recommend on the individual project page is that you tell the story of the project in the write-up, because we're all driven by story. We love story. So share what the challenge was when you started, what your approach was to solving the challenge, and then what the result was. And make it so that prospects can that you're appealing to them on an emotional level, right?
Yes.
So they can actually see themselves in the kitchen renovation that you're talking about. And then it can be really nice to, have a gallery of all the different photos from the project on that page, along with the client's full testimonial. Nancy's heard me talk constantly about using excerpts on all the pages, and on a project page, that is a fantastic place to use the full testimonial.
Interesting. I will tell you, as I'm going through, as you're kind of describing her project pages, which I think is great. Yeah, I think if she could add a testimonial, that would be amazing. And again, Angela's a client of mine. So as she progresses in her career, I can see the later pictures are more professionally taken and the older pictures can start dropping off as she gains more and more projects, which is one of the things you had mentioned.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But the page is just laid out beautifully.
Yeah.
And I'm going to nitpick about one little thing. Maybe the see more button could have a hover effect. And otherwise, I think this is done beautifully. It makes nice use of font hierarchy. It's just really beautifully laid out.
It's beautifully laid out. Again, I would just make a comment that some of the pictures are not, you can tell they're not, photographer quality, but that is okay. And again, in the beginning, these are her older projects.
Yeah.
And under the see more, I don't know how I feel about the before sometimes. She has before pictures, and that's just not my cup of tea always, but I find there are people in this world who love before and afters. I just say put them on Instagram as opposed to the website.
I agree with you, Nancy. I have a lot of clients who like to showcase the befores, and I will usually explain that I don't recommend it, but if it's something they feel strongly about, of course I'm going to do it. On a project page, the befores can go at the very bottom. So that they're not given prominence.
And that's how she did it here.
Yeah, exactly. So, again, it's personal preference. There really isn't a right or wrong. If you know that your clients really like to see the befores, then
Yes,
maybe it
that's
is a very smart idea to include it,
right.
right?
Right. So if you've done your market research and your clients tend to say, I saw the before and I love the after. See, now these latest two do not have the befores.
Yes.
So I'm looking, she might be in the process of making her transition where she's not
Mhm.
showing the befores.
And it could have been a lack of after photos and she
That
wanted
could
to save
be.
up the page. So again, like I said, this is a page that should be constantly curated. And by curated, I mean you're removing the older projects that might not be the best representation of what you're currently capable of doing.
Mhm.
We all start out, we're good at what we do, but we get better as we move
Yes.
on. So you can take out older projects, take out projects that you don't really want more of, and curate the project page.
Okay. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah. I love that there's a testimonial section on the main portfolio page. It's laid out wonderfully. I like that there's a colored background. So it looks different from the section that's above it. The slider is a great way to organize testimonials. I like that there's an image next to it.
But I didn't know this was a slider. I just took a risk.
Yes.
When I saw it turn into a little hand, I went, oh,
yes.
like it might be helpful to make that a little clearer.
Yeah, and sometimes you can use those dashes and have arrows at the side as well.
Yeah.
So that could be a way to do it. And so this is just a fantastic section. Again, my only little nitpick improvement would be to think about being consistent with how the client names appear. So sometimes I think we have initials, and I think sometimes there might be an initial and a last name, or first name and an initial. I like to see consistency there. Again, it's just a very little detail, but I notice those things. So
Yes.
I always like it to be the same throughout. And then I love that there's a call to action after the testimonial section. Taking them to book a discovery call, which is obviously the primary goal of her website.
Mhm.
Again, this is designed and laid out really nicely. And my only little suggestion would be, again, to have a hover effect on the button.
Yep.
So we know it's clickable, but really well done. And then the footer, again, beautifully designed. All the information I would want to see is here. We've got contact information. We've got, again, another book a discovery call. We have links to the social. We have service area and location. We have more navigation information so we can get to other pages of the website. We've got legal pages even below that. So everything here is really well done. This is one of the reasons I can tell immediately it was done professionally.
Yeah. Yeah.
All the information that should be in the footer is there, but really well done. This is a beautifully designed page, and the project pages are fantastic.
I had one other thing where I would like, besides the consistency that you pointed out in the way the names are written rather than initials, location also. Like
Yes.
more of it, like that under their name. I don't mean what's in, like we are finally in our Sun Valley house. I get that. But like underneath, it could be, in my case, it would be like town and New York. Like, so
Yes.
what is it? A province, a town, or what would it be? So I would want that added to the testimonials as another place for people when they Google, it might show their location.
That is an absolutely fantastic point, Nancy. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, especially because most interior designers are local businesses and work within a very specific local service area. Having locations throughout the site can really help with coming up in local search.
Yeah, I think they did an amazing job with her website, whoever did it. But
the color scheme is really beautiful too. Like everything is just very, very well done.
Yeah, you can really tell the difference. And like you said, we're nitpicking. These are suggestions that if we were a residential homeowner or commercial and looking for a designer, commercial location looking, this is an amazing website. These are just little nuances that if we have to be picky, because we're doing an audit, we'll be picky.
Exactly.
All right. Anything else, Robin, on that?
No, I think we touched on everything. I mean, the one thing I would just say is professional photography is really important. When you are able to afford that, when you get to the stage in your business, when you can, I highly, highly encourage you that you can tell the difference. It really does set your business apart.
Yes.
It will help to attract that higher quality client, which is what we're all after,
Exactly.
it does make a difference. So
It
it's
does.
definitely something that when you're able to, you want to start building the cost of the photography into your pricing so that it's covered and you know that you can do it. And not every job is going to be something that you want to include in your portfolio. So you don't necessarily need to have every single job professionally photographed, but it makes a big difference. And from a web design perspective, I will just say, when us designers are working with your beautiful imagery to figure out, what images we should use where on your website, those big images that go from side to side of the screen that we're often putting at the top of the page,
Are they called hero images?
hero images,
Okay.
those need to be high resolution. And I'm talking the file size needs to be pretty big, and the image size. So we've got pixels, and then we also have like megabytes and kilobytes, two different measurements. And we size them down, optimize them for page speed, but we can't make anything bigger.
Without
So,
it getting pixelated and looking blurry or
yes.
whatever.
So,
Yeah.
sometimes with cell phone photographs, if it's a small pixel size, I can't use that as a hero image. It's not big enough, right?
Yes.
So when something's professionally photographed, I know that I'm going to be able to use those photos in any way I want to on the website. So I just mentioned that. And another thing to think about when you are hiring a photographer is get a combination of portrait and landscape photos. So horizontal
Yes.
and vertical, so
Yes.
that again, your designer has the ability to use them in different ways. We don't want everything to be horizontal and everything to be vertical. And some detail shots can be really useful.
Well, when I teach my clients when they're working with photographers, I teach them how to negotiate with them to try to get the maximum they can, and what to ask for so that they can use it in all different ways. So yeah, it's important. These images for designers are important. They're not deal breakers to have a great website. You can still have a great website if you don't have a huge portfolio, but start getting those pictures. Use your profit, which you should be making, to get some professional pictures for sure.
Yeah, it makes a big difference. So,
all right, Robin, tell everyone how to find you if they need their website designed.
yes. So you can find me on my website, which is rdwdesignstudio.com. And you can see my portfolio there as well. And then you can also follow me on Instagram, which is RDW Design Studio. And I post a lot of tips. I follow back designers. So that's just a great place to connect as well.
Awesome. All right. If you're an interior designer and need a website, go check out Robin's website. We put the link in the description, and go have a great week. Go have a great week, Robin.
You too, Nancy. Thank you.
All right. See you next month.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.